Mentors, how are you today? Hopefully you're having a great day. Well, we're in that conflict resolution and anger management phase. Again, that conflict resolution and anger management phase. So I want to define both those concepts for you just to give you a little context. What is anger? Anger is an emotion. Again, anger is an emotion that creates a response to danger. All right, wouldn't you say? That's why we get a little uptight and we get a little aggressive. So, like I just said, you get aggressive. So it typically takes the form of aggression or some sort of negative emotional response. So that's anger at the end of the day, right? And at this age, our kids are having a hard time communicating or expressing their viewpoints, easily frustrated, etc. So they tend to deal with a lot of anger at this age as the hormones are kicking in and they're going through puberty and they're asserting their independence, all right? So by definition, that's what anger is. That's what our kids are going through right now. They're going through the struggles of growing up. So we're hoping in this phase that our kids are learning to identify their triggers, so what are the things that make them angry, and then finding techniques for controlling their anger, like deep breathing, backwards counting, walking away, etc. So if we're able to teach them these coping skills, they'll be less frustrated, and then they'll learn how to control their anger. And I just got to tell you, for the record, this is a difficult concept to adopt at any age, but particularly for this age, the 11 to 14 years age, all right? So that's anger. Now, what is conflict? So conflict resolution, I shouldn't say what is conflict, but what is conflict resolution? Conflict resolution, at the end of the day, is a process of utilizing your communication skills and your analytical skills to prevent, manage, or peacefully resolve a conflict. Again, it's a process where we're using your communication, your problem solving, or your analytical skills in a creative kind of way to prevent, manage, and peacefully resolve conflict, all right? So that's what we're really trying to get our kids to do, is practice and develop their conflict resolution skills as well in this phase. And that they realize both things, that conflict is normal and it happens in everyday life, as well as anger. Anger is normal and it's okay to have angry feelings. So those things are really happen in life, but it's how we deal with them, right? So that's it in a nutshell. That's what anger by definition and conflict resolution by definition, that's what they mean. And that's the phase that we're in. So we're going to start off. Today's activity is called the Ugly Orange. And no, I did not spell ugly incorrectly. It's kind of part of the fun of the activity. It's called the Ugly Orange. But we're going to start this conversation with the question of the day. Pretty simple question of the day. What are some ways you deal with stress? Again, what are some ways you deal with stress? So you ask your students, what are some ways they deal with stress? Maybe they don't know how they deal with stress. Maybe they just have all this stress and they just keep forging through life with frustration, or worried or concerned all the time, or angry all the time. So maybe mentors, you chip in, or chime in I should say, and let them know what are ways you deal with stress. Mine is exercising, so I love exercising, or just sitting quietly with nothing on, no TV, no radio. That's two ways I like to deal with stress. Now, we're going to move into our main activity, the Ugly Orange. And so you're going to start off by reading out loud the Ugly Orange scenario. This is a conflict resolution activity. So this is actually the main activity, but we're starting with the main activity first before we go to the Energizer, because the Energizer is pretty quick. But we don't want you to miss out on this one. This is a good one. So here it is. It's a negotiation kind of thing. It's a conflict resolution. So you're going to read out this scenario. Dr. Jones and Dr. Poland, two biological research scientists representing rival pharmaceutical companies, each seeking to acquire the entire crop of ugly oranges this year. Mr. Ugly is the keeper of the only remaining ugly oranges in the world, a rare variety, and with one whom the teams must buy the fruit from. So before you fly out to meet with Mr. Ugly, your team will develop a proposal and have a meeting with the other scientists to discuss and make a final decision as to who can fly out and purchase the ugly oranges from Mr. Ugly. All right? So you're going to split the team into two groups. You'll assign either Dr. Jones or Dr. Poland to a group. So again, you'll split your team up into two even groups. You're going to assign them either the role of Dr. Poland or the role of Dr. Jones. One group will go outside and one group will stay inside because you kind of want to have them work together on their teams without them hearing their proposal. So while they're in those teams, they're creating a proposal, and then they're also are going to assign or identify one of their team members to role play and act as one of the doctors. So as you split them up, you're going to assign them, give them a handout with the roles defined. So like Dr. Poland, he's a research biologist from a pharmaceutical company. The firm researches methods for combating improper storage of hazardous waste products. He needs the oranges because there was a recent leak of nerve gas from a chemical from an old chemical warfare bomb stored in a bomb chamber on the small Pacific island. He needs the skin of the ugly oranges so that it can be made into a synthetic gas that can neutralize the nerve gas, etc., etc. He wants to buy the ugly oranges. His firm wants to buy the ugly oranges for $250,000. So that's Dr. Poland. We have that already now. And then Dr. Jones, another biological scientist, developed a synthetic chemical serum for curing and preventing rudossin, a disease contracted by pregnant women, etc., etc. You see the point? And then he also wants to purchase the $250,000 oranges. So who should buy the oranges, right? So you're going to bring the groups back together. Those, Dr. Poland and Dr. Jones will come up. Make sure your teams are taking great notes. Make sure they're making great points, etc., why they should purchase it. And then also maybe have them think about, should they collaborate with either scientists, maybe work together and go purchase the oranges. So again, have them have great discussion, take some notes. Then your two representatives will come up and they'll have their debate, or they'll start their negotiating skills, and then they'll come to a final conclusion of what that actually looks like. And then they'll present it to Mr. Ugli. And by the way, mentors, you guys are Mr. Ugli, and you guys can make a decision if you guys think it was a great problem that it was resolved. It was resolved in a healthy manner. All right? And that's it in a nutshell. That's Ugly Orange. It's more reading and more kind of sitting and talking, but it's a fun activity if you really get them going. The descriptions are really pretty in-depth. All right? Now you're going to move to stress ball. You can leave this for the latter half of your session, and this is an anger management activity. You'll start it off. You'll get the kids to regroup again and asking them to share two things that make them emotional or stressed out or angry, and why. So what are some things that get them frustrated, angry, and why? Have a great conversation. Then you'll distribute to each student a piece of construction paper and a balloon. You get a piece of construction paper and a balloon. And what they're going to make is a stress ball. And I'm sure you guys have seen those little squishy little things to kind of help you relax. So they're going to roll up their construction paper into a cone, just like so, right? They're making a cone, which serves as a funnel. They're going to blow up their balloon, make sure they don't pop it or tie it so that it gets it all nice and stretched out. And then you're going to pass around a bag of sand with the cup. They'll go ahead and get a little scoop of sand. They'll put it in their balloon like so. And then they'll fill it up. So approximately about 2 cups of sand should fill up the balloon, but you can kind of gauge and see how much sand you have, and they can make them bigger or smaller. They're tied up, and then they can decorate it. They can make it a funny face. They can make it an animal. They can make it a happy face, etc. But they can decorate it, and then it's a little keepsake they have, and they can keep it in their pocket or in their backpacks, and maybe when they're feeling anxious or having some anxiety, they can, you know, squeeze their little stress ball and release all their stress. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's your anger management, your conflict resolution activity. Enjoy it. It's a lot of conversation, and then they get to walk away with a fun little anger outlet, little gimmicky thing. And then at the end of the day, you know, I like to always end with a quote. So I like to end with a quote. So I found a quote that kind of combines anger and management and conflict resolution. So think about this quote. In a controversy, the instant we feel anger, again, in a controversy, the instant we feel anger, we have already ceased striving for the truth and have begun striving for ourselves. So again, we've already ceased striving for the truth and have begun striving for ourselves. It's Will signing out.